Hey everyone, Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. The time has finally come to review the G4 Doorbell Pro. I was able to get my hands on this a couple of days ago. It's been out for about 2 weeks now, but it has been sold out consistently. I want to thank Ubiquiti for sending this to me to do a review and a couple of videos on. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. If you'd like to hire me for network consulting, visit www.mactelecomnetworks.com. You'd find me on Twitter at MacTelecomN, and if you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is to use our Ubiquiti affiliate links, which you'll find in the description. The first thing we're going to do, as always, is take a look at what comes in the box with the G4 Doorbell Pro. I'm also going to get the standard G4 doorbell and we'll compare the size. After that, I'm going to get the G4 Doorbell Pro installed on the front of my house and we'll do some testing between the standard and the Pro. And this is the G4 Doorbell Pro. I really like how they went with black. I like this design a lot better. On the top, we have a 5 megapixel night vision camera. We have the push button to ring the doorbell, and then we have this digital display that could be customized. And then I believe this is the speaker, and we have an NFC and a thumb scanner, which will be used in the future. On the very bottom, we have a light and we have that 8 megapixel package camera, which will be great, and we will test that out. On the back, we have this reset push button, which I like this style of reset button a lot better than having to get a paper clip and pushing it in. And then we have a couple different powering options. They will have 2 different accessories that you could buy, but they're still not available yet. The first one would be the gigabit PoE USB adapter, and the second would just be a normal standard USB adapter to power it up. And if you're using a transformer to power this up, we have our 2 screws where we would attach our 18.2 cable. This doorbell features 2-way audio and echo cancellation and motion detection sensor. The doorbell is rated IPX4, which it could take some splashes of water. Next in the box is our different mounting options. We have this flat mount and then we have the angled mount. In the angled mount, you could turn it either to the left or you could turn it to the right, whichever way you need your doorbell to be positioned. If you're using 18.2 cable to power your doorbell, you could use these little extenders to plug into the back of your doorbell. I won't be using these. I'll be connecting it direct to my doorbell cable. It also comes with this piece for our mechanical chime if you are using a mechanical chime. And it comes with this mounting template and a little level. It also comes with a pack of screws and anchors. Now let's take a look at both of the doorbells side by side. You could clearly tell that the Doorbell Pro is a lot bigger than the standard G4 doorbell. The Doorbell Pro is 6.32 inches by 2.0 by 1.13, whereas the standard doorbell is 4.66 inches by 1.84 by 1.02. Now we've seen what comes in the box with the G4 Doorbell Pro. Let's take a look at some of the compatible chimes that this could work with. On the webpage for the G4 Doorbell Pro, it says view compatible chimes. And we could see a couple different things here. So we could see for mechanical chimes or we could see digital chimes, and it shows you all of the models that we're able to use. I have a digital chime that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, so we're going to have to skip that part in the video. The G4 Doorbell Pro is $299 USD MSRP. But before we go outside and start mounting the G4 Doorbell Pro, we're going to get it adopted into our Unifi Protect controller. So let's go ahead and get that done. Currently, I just have the G4 Doorbell Pro plugged in with the USB-C power cord, and we can see that it's found it in Protect. It says new device found, and we need to add it. It's locating our Wi-Fi networks, and I'm going to be putting this on my Mac Telecom camera network. I'll enter the password and then we'll press next. And now you can see here that the G4 Doorbell Pro camera has been added into Protect. Let's go downstairs and get this mounted to the front of the house. First, we need to unmount the old G4 doorbell camera and unscrew the wires. Next, we unmount the G4 doorbell bracket. Now with the old bracket off, it's time to put the new bracket on. I wish Ubiquiti put the screw holes in the same position. Now we need to drill another hole into the wall. We need to get the 18.2 cable pushed through the middle of the bracket and then the bracket attached to the wall. Now with the new bracket on, we need to attach the 18.2 cable to the back of the G4 Pro doorbell. You want to make sure that the circuit breaker is off that's connecting to this 18.2 cable. We now have the G4 Doorbell Pro mounted on the front of my house. The only thing that I dislike is that it has different screw holes than the standard G4 doorbell. So if you have a G4 doorbell already, you will have to drill that extra hole. We can see the G4 Doorbell Pro is already adopted into my controller, and let's take a look at it. Under our overview, it's going to be pretty much the same as any other camera. We have our camera status, the model, the firmware, the connection, which is at 100% at minus 65 dBm. This is connected over Wi-Fi. When they come out with that PoE adapter, I may try it. Not too sure if I will have to cut a hole in my wall. It shows us our last motion, our MAC address, our IP address, and the frames per second, as well as the bit rate. We have the voltage going to the doorbell, which is 20.3 volts. We have the uptime, connection time, and we could see the last ring. Under recording mode, this is where we're gonna set when we want it to record. I'm always gonna have it on 24/7. But you could have it never or for detections only. And you could also set up a schedule if you'd like. I don't want to have a video schedule. I'm going to have it record 24/7. We have detections to record. So we have motion detections and smart detections. And something new in Unifi 2.0.0 is this package detection. And we will be trying that out to make sure it works properly. Under detection recording settings, we have second a motion needed to trigger detections. Then we have second to record before motion detection. And then we have seconds after motion detection. We have our recording quality. This is where we could switch the frame rate and the image quality. The higher you push this up, the more hard drive space it will use. I'm going to have mine set to the highest quality we can. We could set up our motion zones and we could set up our smart detection zones. Let's take a look at the smart detection zones. Under our smart detection zone, we have this one zone configured, which is showing the whole screen of the doorbell. We have our sensitivity and then we have our detection type. It says that 3 are selected, but there's only 2 that are here, person and vehicle. It looks like the package detection is in here, but when we go to the drop-down menu, it's nowhere to be found. And under smart detection zones, we have our privacy zones, and we could add a privacy zone if we want. Depending on your local state laws, you may not be able to record any of your neighbor's property. So you could add this zone. Say we don't want to have anything else but our front door. We could just drag this mask over top. Doing so is going to black out everything and it won't even record. Now we have our general settings. So this is where we could put our doorbell name. I'm going to call this front door. And we could have a device group if you want. I did go over device groups in my Unifi Protect 2.0.0 video. If you want to see that, I'll leave a link to that video below. We could also set our microphone. Right now, the sensitivity, I have it at 1, but we're going to put it up to 70%. Again, depending on your local state laws, you might not be able to record audio, so you could disable this permanently. If you disable it permanently, the only way to get the audio back is to reset the camera. After microphone, we have our infrared. I have it set to auto, but you can change the sensitivity to low, medium, or high. And we have our status sound and our status light. The doorbell message, we could either have it say welcome and have it on as always, leave package at door, do not disturb, or we could create our own custom message. And then we could tell it the duration that we want it to play for. If you have a doorbell chime, this is where you could set it. My chime is set to none right now, but you could either set it to mechanical or digital. I have both, but let's set it to mechanical for now. We have our overlay information, which shows us our time, the camera name, the Ubiquiti logo, and the bit rate. And then we have the Wi-Fi connection. We could see which SSID this doorbell camera is currently on. If you need to switch the network, you could click the drop-down menu and then select a new SSID. Under Advanced, this is going to show us our RTSP stream, so we have high, medium, or low, and then we have the package camera. And under Manage, we have Restart Camera, and then we have Unmanaged Camera. If we click Unmanaged Camera, it will pop this up. Please specify what should be done with the G4 Doorbell Pro's recording before unmanaging it. So keep this camera's recording history or delete the camera's recording history. If we press Unmanage, it will reset the doorbell to factory. Now looking at the camera, it looks really good. This is in the auto quality. We could see the package camera in the bottom left. The package camera only has 2 frames per second, whereas the regular camera has 30 frames per second. The package camera also doesn't have infrared LEDs, but the motion light at the bottom when somebody's coming to drop off a package should be enough light to be able to see that package. We could also switch back and forth between the main camera and the package camera. All you need to do is click on the package camera. And you can see that I have a cord down below, and that's powering the G4 normal standard doorbell, so we could do some testing. In the top right, if we want to take a picture, all we need to do is click the camera icon, and that will download a JPEG for us. Now let's take a look at the settings of the camera. Like any other camera, we could adjust the microphone, the brightness, the contrast, the hue, saturation, sharpness, the noise, AE mode, the orientation, infrared, LDC, which is something new, and HDR. Let's take a look at LDC. LDC is lens distortion correction, helps counteract any camera distortion. Let's turn it off. So turning it off, it makes it look like the round camera. I definitely prefer it turned on. Now if we go into playback, we could see our detections. We could see there's been a bunch of motion alerts as well as vehicle detections. One neat thing about this camera, we have a couple different views that we could see. Currently it's on the main camera and the package camera. We could see in our top left that we could change our view. If we only want the main camera, we could see that. If we only want the package camera, we could see that also. I think that's a really great feature that they added to this doorbell. Now let's take a look at the smart detections for the package detections. You'd see at 316, I was walking up to the door and I was putting the package down. At 317, you can see this little box icon. That means there's a package at the door. So that's really great for knowing when you have things maybe from Amazon sitting at your door ready to be picked up. So really the last thing to do is to do a comparison between the G4 Doorbell Pro and the G4 Doorbell Standard. I have both of the doorbells like this pretty much at the same level. So I'll go out there with the sign, walk towards the doorbell, and I'll also do a one-way audio test. And we'll also go out at nighttime to see the night vision. The quality of the doorbells are pretty much identical. The only difference that I really see with the G4 Doorbell Pro is it has a wider angle. We could see on the normal G4 doorbell that we can't see over here in the tip of my neighbor's car. But in the G4 Doorbell Pro, we could see the neighbor's car. So it does give us a bit bigger field of view. Now let's take a listen in of the microphones on the doorbells. I did raise them by 5 dB in my editing software as it was pretty quiet. Mic test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 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 Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The microphone on the G4 Doorbell Pro is a lot louder and clearer. I do like it, although the microphones in general aren't that good. Now let's wait tonight and see what the night vision looks like. This is the night vision for the G4 Doorbell Pro, and we could also see the package camera. Next up, we have the night vision for the G4 standard doorbell. And finally, we have the package camera at night that doesn't have infrared LEDs in it, but it does have that motion light. And that's night vision for both of the doorbells. I do think the G4 Doorbell Pro is a bit better. So would I recommend getting the G4 Doorbell Pro? And I definitely would. The package camera is huge to me as I get a ton of packages to my house pretty much every day. I would have liked to see the frames per second on the package camera a little bit higher, but it is to just detect packages, so we don't really need more than that, and we don't need the infrared LEDs. People may not like the size of the G4 Doorbell Pro as it's fairly big, but it doesn't bug me. My only complaint is having the different screw holes on the mount, so you have to drill another hole into your brick if you had an existing G4 doorbell. But that's not the end of the world. If you have any questions about this video, please leave it in the comments below. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.